look, this video isn't clickbait. There really is a hidden truth about bipolar that no one's talking about. And I want to talk about it because if I had known this when I first got diagnosed, it would have saved me so much time, so much money, so much pain. I wouldn't have had so much pain. And I want you to know this because I want to save you time. I want to save you money. I want to see you have an awesome life. I want to see you not make the same mistakes I did. So if you're sitting there and you want to find out the truth about bipolar, you're going to want to watch this video. And as a bonus, I'm going to tell you not only how to beat it, but how to use it to your advantage. Hey, what's up, team? Evan here with Real Mental Health. Welcome to the hidden truth about bipolar. I'm going to tell you right now, the hidden truth about bipolar is that there is no cure, that it sucks, that you're going to have to try really hard to be the same as other people. However, there's a big however, when you learn to utilize it, it becomes a superpower. And that superpower can help you thrive in a creative and awesome environment and have you live an amazing, amazing life. This isn't BS. This is all real facts. So in this video, I'm going to go through exactly how to overcome this devastating truth that there is no cure, that it's really hard, and you have to do certain things. When you follow these things, this is what worked for me, you will set yourself up for so much success. So with that, let's jump right in. Now, if you guys are watching this video, this is the long form. This is kind of like a video podcast. If you want to watch like the highlight reel with all the cool graphics and stuff, you'll see that video come out a little bit later. Also, once it is, it'll be in the link in the description below. So check out the link for the shorter form. But I want to talk about this, and I saw this. If you guys ever watched the show, it's called The Boys on Amazon. Anyways, great show. But they have superpowers, and they're giving these superpowers. I hope I don't ruin it for anyone. Spoiler alert. They're giving these superpowers by injecting this like serum into them. Okay. And you know how plots go. Eventually, they have a way to lose the superpower. And some of the superheroes want to lose their powers because once they're gone, they're more sensitive. They can touch people without ripping their arms off, all this stuff. However, after a time of being not super, they want their powers back and they want to take the serum again. And I realize this is like bipolar, right? Is when you have bipolar, a lot of times you wish you didn't have bipolar. I know I used to wish all the time I didn't have bipolar. I used to have a little pity party. Used to sit down and cry. Wham, poor me. Life sucks. I have a mental illness. I might as well just give up and smoke weed till I die. And I tried that. Didn't work. Now, here's the thing. I didn't know how to leverage my bipolar. I didn't know how to use my bipolar because no one's talking about it. No one wants to tell a kid that guy died and was bipolar, hey, guess what, kid? Your life's going to suck. Or, better said, there's an extremely high probability that your life will suck. Like, I mean, that would have crushed my feelings. However, here I am telling you, if you have bipolar, or if you have any other mental illness, there are simple steps that you can take, that you can follow, and you can conquer it, and you can turn it into a superpower, and you can actually live an amazing life. My mistake was I thought my amazing life, I had to be a bazillionaire, had to be a millionaire, had to be super jacked, had to have 25 girlfriends, had to have a Lambo. Is that success, folks? I don't know. Some people think that's cool, some people doesn't. I can't wait for those things to happen, if they're ever going to happen, because I don't even know if I want that, because really, success when you have a mental illness is being stable, is being happy, is participating in activities you love to do, is holding a steady job, is saving money, is actually, and I think one of the ultimate goals is for no one to know you even have mental illness. I guarantee there are people watching this, they went, oh, I didn't even know I haven't had, but you know what I mean? So that's fine. So to make it a superpower, the first step, let's jump right in. Radical acceptance. Now, it's a term I stole from dialectical behavioral therapy. Anyways, what it means is you are the way you are, right? And you need to decide, are you bipolar or are you not? Or is your bipolar a problem or is it not a problem? Because until, and this is from the big book, 12-step warning, 12-step, is until you can concede to your innermost self that you actually have a mental illness, you can't get better. And you can't walk the line. You can't kind of be bipolar. It's kind of like being pregnant, right? You can't kind of be bipolar. You can't kind of have depression. You either have it or you don't have it. However, there are scales, right? You could have bipolar 1, bipolar 2, bipolar 3, 9, 10, who knows how many different forms there are. But you got to decide if you have it or not. Do you have mood swings? Yeah, but you got to decide. You want to watch that, learn about a different video, different podcasts about how I talk about how to tell. But once you do, you decide, okay, I have it. Don't do what I did. Don't get depressed. Don't have a pity party. Don't go out and just make a bunch of bad decisions. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. There's things you have to do. And like I said, part of the hidden truth is you're going to have to try hard to be normal. But I'm telling you, it's worth it. I'm telling you, there's nothing more worth it. What we do for radical acceptance is you need to say to yourself, I am now fully willing to admit that I have a mental illness, that I have bipolar. I'm fully willing. I get it. I admit it. Wait, the next part. Yeah, the next part. There's nothing I can do to change it. He said, Evan, wait, I thought this whole video was about how to change it. No, listen. There's nothing you can do to change it. There is no off switch. There is no magic pill. There is no supplement, guru, crystal therapy, massage. It's not going to go away. It's here to stay, and that's okay. And until you accept that, you will never get better. I fought it tooth and nail. I mean, I tried everything. And I'm not the kind of guy who like, hey, bro, I try one or two things. No, I literally tried everything. I had a lot of time. I had a lot of credit card debt. And I just did everything. And guess what? None of that worked because I wasn't doing the right things. I didn't have the right guidance. And that's what this whole channel is about. I want to give you the right guidance. I want to give you stuff that worked for me. I don't want to tell you to do a bunch of shit that doesn't work. How to know what to do? Well, stay tuned. So once you've radically accepted your position, okay, you're ready to take certain steps. Guys, sound like the walking 12-step book. That's okay, though. What we want to do first is we need to get help. Okay? The odds of you curing your bipolar, right? And I say cure very liberally. Or let's say recovering fully. The odds of you recovering fully from bipolar are extremely low if you do it by yourself. So if you think you're gonna go in your room, and I tried this, you're gonna do a fast and a cleanse, and you're gonna pray for 3 days straight, and you're gonna awaken and not have bipolar anymore. Yeah, that's not how it works. I wish it did, but it doesn't. You have to you essentially need to get help from someone who's not you. And I highly write this down in freaking stone. This is the 11th commandment right here. Don't ask your parents for help, okay? They're your parents. Your parents are here to love and support you. They bred you. They made you. They are not your support animals, okay? They are not your freaking emotional support parent, emotional support mom, emotional support dad, okay? They can help you. Do not use them to get help, okay? Don't go to your mom complaining about your mental illness. I will make an entire video on that, but that's something else. What we do instead is we utilize resources, okay? And if you need to learn more about those resources, go watch my tips and trick video plug, and you will learn more about the resources. But essentially, we're getting professional help, right? We're finding like-minded people, support groups, right? And we're being honest. We're going open and sharing, okay? Get rid of the macho hoo-ha. Get rid of the, I'm a flex. You're a weak. You're an impotent little pussy. Nah, get rid of all that shenanigans. Get some help. Be humble. Admit to yourself, because you know you did radical acceptance, that you need help, all right? Get rid of that machismo nonsense. Stop pretending that guys don't get sick. Stop pretending like I just got to be tougher. I got to get higher testosterone. If I only had ripped six-pack abs, then I wouldn't be so depressed or bipolar. That's a bunch of... And honestly, if you think that you can, go ahead and try it. Go ahead and try it. Go out there and try to beat it yourself, okay? And if you get mad, come here. I'll fight you, literally, in person. That's cool. I'm down. Let's bring it, you know, because you're wrong. You're wrong and you're stupid, okay? And if you're just one of those ignorant trolls that wants to go out there, tell everyone that they're weak, and tell everyone that they're just a bunch of season, they got to pull themselves out of the bootstraps, you're part of the problem, okay? You're the reason people are overdosing on fentanyl, because people like you suck, and I really want to destroy you. Okay, that was a tangent. Sorry, angry rant, but it's true, okay? Get rid of the nonsense. Get help. Stop wasting time. Stop snorting cocaine. Stop banging prostitutes. Your life together by getting help. It's not that hard. It's just very, 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 very challenging. And I know, because I did. It took me forever. And man, I destroyed my life pretty fast, okay? So get help, but also a big piece is find some friends who will listen to you. It's hard to have a friend who just wants to fix your problems. I'm kind of like that sometimes. It's hard to have a friend who's like, oh, Johnny, you're bipolar. Here, try this. I was bipolar once too. No. Find friends who want to listen, right? And listen, yeah, oh, dang, that sounds hard. Oh, man, that's tough. Like, what are you doing about it? Can I help? You know, and they're there for you. And even if you have to like teach your friends how to communicate with you, you can do that too. We have a different video on that. What you do is you ask your friends, hey, you know, I need some help. Will you listen to me? Boom, boom, boom. You will find friends that support you. If you don't have friends, go to support groups and make friends. Like literally, I have some of my friends I met in support groups, I met in treatment. They've been my friends for a long, long time. They help us. We help each other. That's the whole point. So you want to make those friends, okay? So you get help, get professional help. Stop being a macho douche. Find some friends, okay? You want to get informed, okay? Because when I talked about the hidden truth, right, I was talking about that you're going to have to try extra hard to be normal. And what I meant by that is there are certain things that bipolar does to your brain and does to all these different things. And if you really like that kind of neuroscience, Andrew Huberman, famous and stuff, maybe he will talk to me one day. He goes into it. He's like a neuroscientist, blah, 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 all this amazing smart stuff. He goes really into science. So if you like science, that's cool. I find that practically useless if you don't know how to utilize actual real world stuff. And that's where I come in. So you can know all the neuroscience in the world, but that shit ain't gonna fix your problem. It can help though. So I like knowing that for me. That might not be you. Maybe you want to go the other way. Maybe you want to learn about spirituality. You know, you got the holistic psychiatrist, another famous lady. There's a bunch of people in the space that are like more into like the spiritual nature and like healing wounds. And I did all that, loved it. Figure that stuff out too. Go and explore. Watch my videos. Smash that like button when you watch them. But basically, you want to find a little more information about professional, right? Like, how does psychiatrists see it? How do therapists see it? How does Andrew Huberman see it? How does a psychiatrist? What's a spiritual side? Learn those things, okay? Don't spend a lot of time because, a lot of the knowledge is not that useful, but a little bit is. So you start to identify waves. We need to understand insurance, okay? If you don't have medical insurance, you need to get medical insurance ASAP. I'm not saying that's on YouTube, but you could essentially like have income that doesn't qualify, so you get state insurance. I don't know, just saying. Anyways, what you do is you need to understand medical, okay? You're allowed with your insurance to see psychiatrists, you're allowed to see therapists, you're allowed to go to the ER, you can do these things. And yeah, it may cost you money, but like just break the bank, okay? Because if you're gonna be like me and you just say, it's too expensive to get therapy, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you're $20,000 in credit card debt, and you said, wow, I bet you therapy didn't cost $20,000. Whoops, true story. So you need to understand your insurance. You need to like work with your insurance. It's kind of a pain in the ass. I go into it more in the tips and tricks, but you need to navigate that because if you don't use your insurance, it really, really does get extremely expensive, and that's going to be a problem. And the insurance, they're a tool, right? Utilize it, okay? Another thing about getting employment, okay? And this is a big one. This is a big one. I really struggle with this because a lot of times the normal man's cure is just get out there, Johnny, and get a job. You're just a lazy piece of shit. You need to work, okay? That's kind of true for some people, honestly, but for if you like us seriously mentally ill people, if you're not stable, stop worrying about a job. However, you don't need to be this like guru of stability and like levitating out of your bed and running 25 miles before you eat breakfast to like be ready to work. Like you need to jump in eventually. Work a meaningless job. Who cares? It's not okay to work at Del Taco. I literally worked at Converse unpacking boxes and putting shoes away. And I loved it because I actually could do something. So start simple, okay? Like I said, you're going to have to try harder to be normal. So basically what you want to do is you want to build yourself up in your employment. I don't want to go too much in that. We can talk about that different time. Last piece about getting informed is there's always treatment centers. It's kind of like a last stop on the block, but just know that those exist, okay? Now, let's go into the second half of how to turn bipolar into a superpower, right? Like we talked a little about this and about that, but now let's learn how to use it as a superpower, okay? And I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. This is something I'm working with, okay? This is something that I'm utilizing, right? And because, I have to accept that I'm not going to be able to be the guy who can grind 20 hours a day. I can't wake up and just grind and like I work hard, yes, but I also have to have a lot of liberties, and now I'm going to talk about those. So for you, it basically works down like this. For us, you need to be aware of your cycle. It sounds like menstrual cycles. Bipolar, you go up and down, okay? And you'd think that it'd be really easy to identify when you're going up and when you're going down, but it actually takes practice, and that's why the previous steps, getting help, getting informed, right, having acceptance, is a lot easier to identify the cycles. What you do is, when you identify cycles, are you up or are you down? Don't use manic. Don't use depressed. I hate those terms. That's just not nomenclature. It's nonsense, okay? It's just words. Are you up or are you down? Do you have energy? You don't have energy, okay? When you have energy, do stuff. You're saying, Evan, that's the worst advice I've ever heard in my entire life. I exaggerate. It's not the worst advice ever, but it's just so basic, okay? And this took me years to understand. Well, I wish I felt like this every day. I wish I had tons of energy. You're not going to have the same energy you have every day. One, that's just not humanly possible. Two, you're bipolar, so you have to accept that you're going to go up and down, okay? So when you have energy, you need to do things. Be productive. Be creative. Do not start endless projects. Do not make giant lofty goals. Do not undertake projects that'll take months and months. Complete tasks, simple things, right? Write this paper, submit a resume, do this thing, make an interview, do those things, okay? When you're up. And be mindful that you're not too up. And what does that mean? Are you feeling anxious, right? Are you feeling impulsive? Are you feeling like you can conquer the world? Do you feel like everything you're doing is genius and so smart, and you feel like you're just like the best looking super high achiever ever? Be aware of those things. You might need to calm the jets. When you're down, and this is much harder, when you're down, you need to motivate yourself. You need to take a shower. You need to get out of bed. You need to throw on some Eric Thomas for some love Eric Thomas for some motivation. You need to throw on some motivational something. You got to get the juices flowing. But understand, you're just not going to be as productive, and you have to accept that. I hate that. I define my self-esteem based on how productive I am. And I wish I could grind this channel. I want to spend 7 hours a day doing it. I want to come home after jiu-jitsu and be able to grind. I just can't. My brain will shut down. I will pay a significant price. Weeks and weeks and weeks of pain and suffering and depression, okay? I'm not willing to make that sacrifice because that sucks also. So what we do when we're down is you boost yourself up a little bit. Get your little, get your little boost. And that boost is artificial. Okay? Do not snort Adderall. Don't drink 17 cold brews. Just motivate yourself. Do a few things. Be okay with doing a little bit less. It's very hard. And like I said, when you have your self-esteem defined on how much you do, it's just not healthy. But, we need to understand that you're going to be less some days. And that's okay, right? You'll make it up because you probably will do double what a normal person would do. So this is kind of how it balances out with the cycles is I do 2 times the amount of work when I'm up. I do half the amount of work when I'm down, and that equals 1. So I'm basically learning how to ride the wave, as I call it, which is a concept we'll talk more about in a different video, especially as my understanding of it grows. Like I'm still like totally juggling this and trying to figure this out and trying to balance it and not trying to let it affect my self-esteem. But I have really, really come a long way in terms of riding the waves, and I think it's super, super important. When we're up, use it, but don't go too up. When you're down, motivate yourself. Be productive, but understand you're just going to be a little bit less productive. The next piece about being normal. I know that drugs and alcohol are awesome. Never tried a drug I didn't like, okay? However, I'm an addict. No, I wasn't a crackhead. No, I didn't drink myself and crash 10 cars. I just couldn't stop smoking weed. But I also liked other substances are fun too, but I never really messed with those too much because my brain was kooky. Long story short, if you're really convinced you have bipolar, you should try sobriety. And I learned this from a psychiatrist a while back who's actually a dual diagnosis psychiatrist. Is a lot of people get misdiagnosed bipolar because they're using drugs. And when I use my drug, I'm up and happy. When I don't use my drug, I'm down and sad. And it really looks like. And so technically, he was saying that you can't really get a diagnosis of bipolar until you've been sober for a little bit of time. Now, if you're like me, you go, well, I can't get sober because I'm so bipolar. Okay, well then do the other steps while you're trying to quit the stuff and eventually quit the stuff. How do you know if you're an addict or not? Watch my other video about how to save an addict's life. But I'm saying how you know you're an addict is try to quit, and if you can't, you're an addict. It's not that hard. I mean, that's pretty much it. If you are an addict, go get help, okay? And that will be in a different video, but you need to try sobriety. And that goes back to the truth. Bipolar is hard, and it's way harder if you're using drugs, okay? I mean, infinitely harder. So I'm not saying get sober because I don't want to be like a little sober Nazi, if you can say Nazi on YouTube. Whoops. Anyways, I'm telling you, you should just try sobriety. Okay. I love my sobriety. I mean, I'm all about it, but that's because, it makes me happy. So these last couple ones that I have here, these ones are hard. All right. And these are very emotional topics for me. I'm going to try not to cry on camera because I'm a real man. No, it's just, there's a lot of trauma for me involved in these subjects, but I want to share them with you. That's the whole point. I want to be open. I'm not trying to be like, I'm a guy on YouTube. I paid some money and have a studio. Blah, I'm so smart. No, look, I'm doing this with you guys. We're a team. Right? I might be the captain, but I definitely don't know everything, and I need your guys' help too. But also, like, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, there's stuff that I do wrong. Like, there's stuff that I mess up. And a big part of this for me is I feel guilty. I feel guilty because, my bipolar, it essentially destroyed my life, but it destroyed it from the inside out. And it was kind of probably hard to watch if I think about it from other people, because everyone thought I was so okay. Everyone thought I was so okay until I just didn't show up one Christmas because I was in treatment. Or everyone thought I was so okay until, like, literally I'm just like a zombie from meds, and I gained a bunch of weight. But and I feel guilty because, like, I was supposed to be superstar, I was supposed to be this, and I was supposed to be blah 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 blah, and I feel guilty. So I'm learning how to let go of guilt. I hope you guys can let go of guilt too. I mean, that sounds like idealistic, but I think it's really possible, because a lot of the things that happen to us during bipolar is like, they're not all our fault. Yes, you made those decisions, right? However, you were under the influence of an insane brain, okay? And it's really hard to make good decisions when your brain is insane. And part of that for me, in terms of the guilt and the insane brain, is understand that on a certain level, this is who I am. I'm always going to have ups. I'm always going to have downs. I'm always going to be dealing with this stuff. I'm always going to have to be on the cutting edge. And that's okay. That's radical acceptance. And I can no longer feel guilty for what happened to me or what I did, because I need to live forward. I need to live in the future. I need to move my life forward and amend the guilt. Okay, I didn't succeed. Well, I'm succeeding now. What can I do with my success, right? I hurt these relationships. Well, I'm making better relationships now. How can I make my relationships better? Move forward in your process. And if you're new in your recovery and you're just starting, don't worry about that shit. Don't. It doesn't matter. All that matters is getting stable and the other things fall in line. It's when you put, as they say, the cart in front of the horse. When you start focusing, I need to get my relationship better, getting my job back. When you start focusing on those things, it sets you back. in that sense, for me, letting go of guilt is just, it's hard, but it's really important. These last ones are very controversial, okay? It's the law of omerta, which if you ever read The Godfather, the book, it's a pretty good book. He talks about the law of silence among the, I think it was, I don't know the Gestapo, but not the Gestapo, the people against, the mob, essentially. You don't tell anyone, you never admit anything, you never snitch, the whole thing, you know. I'm so hard, I'm not a snitch, bro. Anyways, don't tell people about your mental illness. Come on. And that's actually the next one. But, you know, just don't. Just don't. They don't need to know. They don't really care. And if it somehow comes up in conversation, just blow by it. I don't necessarily want you to walk around pretending that you're fine like I did and actually be a wreck. But it's way better to walk around pretending you're being fine than to walk around and actually just wrecking everything. Because my thing was, like I said, from the inside out, like my bipolar wrecked me from the inside out, but I wasn't out there wrecking everybody else. I wasn't being reckless. I wasn't getting in fights. I wasn't stealing. I actually steal money. That's a different story. But I'm saying I wasn't wrecking other people. So it was very important to me to practice omerta, to practice silence, to practice not talking about it. Except, and this is where I fucked up hard, is you need to go to support groups. You need to find people who have mental illness. You need to find friends, and you need to talk about it, okay? If you want to live in permanent silence and permanent pretending, I guarantee this ends in you dead or in prison. Those are your choices. So tell me, you either want to die, you either want to go to prison, or do you want to get better? And the only way to get better is to talk about it with support groups, with people that you know. Don't go out there and wreck house over how bipolar you are and all this bullshit. Be honest with people in your circle that you can trust. That's what's important. That's what matters. More than anything else is being able to have a community, to have people around you that you can talk to about your issues, that understand what's going on, that either were bipolar or are bipolar, or understand you as a person, understand you as a friend. And if you don't have friends, like I said, go back and find it. But don't go out in the world and just start spraying your bipolar nonsense all over. It's not a good look, and it's really unhealthy. I'm moving from controversial to even more controversial. This one, and I'm going to go on the record, YouTube, don't demonetize me, but this one's called Everyone and Get Better. No one is more important than your recovery. Let me repeat that. No one is more important than your recovery. And in the sense that if you're not recovered, every relationship, every person, every dependent, everything you touch turns to shit. That's brutal. And this is back to the truth. It's a brutal truth. If you're not better, you're worse. And if you're worse, you're making everything else worse. You say, God damn, Evan, I'm so unmotivated right now. Don't be, because it is a mindset. Prioritize your recovery above all else. It's more important than your job. It's more important than your kids. It's more important than your family. That doesn't mean become a self-centered, let's call it a bigot. Don't be a self-centered bigot, all about you, everything. No. What I'm saying is if you have to choose between doing something extra for your kids or your family or doing your recovery, you need to participate in your recovery. You need to find a way to support your family, to support your kids, to support your life, to support everything else. Find a way to get that supported by not you doing it, and then recover. And as you get better and as you get recovered, take on more and more responsibilities. And I have a different in tips and tricks. I talk about this in a little bit different in terms of making a safe place. But you need to embrace the fact that nothing's more important in your recovery, and everyone, and get better. And that's how you help them. I made the mistake, right? I was trying to make my parents happy. I was trying to keep my job alive. I was trying to keep this afloat, trying to keep my boxing going. All these things I prioritized above my recovery. And guess what? I sank hard because all I needed to do was get better, and all those things got infinitely better. I had it backwards. You don't make your life better and then recover because your life's better. You recover and then your life gets better as a consequence. Be that as it may, the final piece here, and I have it written down with a question mark. God. You don't have to believe in God. I don't even care if you believe in God or not. I'm very, very pro-God. I love God with all my heart and soul, and I just lost 50 subscribers. But that's okay, because you know what? It's more important for me at this point to know, to everyone out there who's watching, God is the only reason I make. It doesn't have to be your story. It doesn't have to be anything like you, but you need to know that's what I did. Everything I teach and everything I advise you on and everything I talk about, it's all under the umbrella of I loved God with all my heart. And not necessarily the Christian the way you think about it. No, I'm not necessarily the religious person that you think about it. But I got down on my knees and said, God, I will do whatever you want me to do. Please help me. Help me get better. That's how I found motivation. I wasn't good at talking. I wasn't good at asking for help. I didn't have any direction. I had no advice. I didn't know where to look. I had nothing, but I found a God, and the God led me. And I destroyed my relationship with God. I wrecked my entire life using God as a prefix. I destroyed that too. But I found relief in the reconnecting and refinding because God never gave up on me. I gave up on God. And all the mistakes I made, God didn't make those mistakes. He let me or she let me make those mistakes. So I challenge you folks, find a God. And if you can't find a God, have a really damn good reason why you don't need one. But either way, make a decision on a firm level of, do you need a God or do you not? Do you need help from a higher power or do you not? That's so important, okay? Thank you guys. If you guys watched the end of this, you're amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will be back in the next video. If there's anything you want me to cover, go ahead and write it in the comments below and I will cover it. Thank you guys. Hope you really love the long form podcast. I really do appreciate it. Looking forward to working with you guys, talking with you guys more. Peace.